वेलकम बैक टू इनसाइड टुनाइट। हम बात कर रहे हैं अनूप भार्गव से जो हमारे साथ हैं फ़ोन पर, और चर्चा का विषय है सोशल मीडिया किस तरह से हमारे जीवन को प्रभावित कर रहा है। और आपको याद होगा हाल ही में जो चर्चित केस रहा है इंडियन डिप्टी काउंसिलर देवयानी खोबरगढ़े का, उसमें भी कानूनी तौर पर या समाचारों की सुर्खियों में कई बार जो फेसबुक पोस्टिंग्स उनके यहाँ काम करने वाली संगीता रिचर्ड्स की थी वो दिखाई गई थी, ये प्रमाणित करने के लिए, स्थापित करने के लिए कि वो उनके साथ बहुत प्रसन्न थी। और कई ऐसे केसेस जो बड़े स्तर पर समाचार की सुर्खियां बने रहे हैं, उनमें ट्विटर और फेसबुक की पोस्टिंग्स को बहुत गंभीरता से लिया गया है। हालांकि होता ही है, जब सब कुछ सामान्य चल रहा होता है तो हम ट्विटर को, फेसबुक को, एसएमएस को, इन सब बातों को बहुत कैजुअली लेते हैं। सो अनुप जी, आई वांट टू गो बैक टू यू नाउ एंड बिफोर वी कम बैक टू द केस ऑफ सुनंदा जी's shocking departure from the face of earth suddenly. There was another case just a few weeks ago from Delhi where one journalist also found himself entangled in some sort of a pressure which had a lot to do with social media also. Khurshid Anwar. Tell me, what do you know about him and how do you feel why that way it unfolded?
हाँ अशोक जी, आपने अच्छा सवाल उठाया। और ये खुर्शीद अनवर जी का जो केस हुआ था वो मुझे भी पूरी जानकारी नहीं है उसके बारे में, लेकिन जितना मुझे समझ में आया है मैं आपके साथ शेयर करना चाहूँगा। So Khurshid Anwar ji was a social activist. He was a journalist and I believe a head of a NGO. And he was accused by a young lady who used to work with him of having sexual encounter or whatever you may want to call it, a relationship with him. Mm-hmm. And before the matter could go to the court, or before even the lady could file a police report, this matter became very actively debated on the social media, especially on the Facebook. And there were a lot of going back and forth, people accusing, making their own judgment, and things like that happened. So here we have to be very, very careful. As we said, the social media cannot be a substitute for a court. Once the people start making judgment on the social media without having full information, it becomes
I interrupt you and I'm just reminded of one family, Tripathi family in Boston, whose son was missing, and after this marathon race bombing instance, because he was missing, and some people on social media started connecting his role with the bombers, and that led to a lot of unwanted or avoidable troubles for the Tripathi family, because people were sending them very, very nasty messages, and all this because a group of people without verifying the facts started claiming that he was also involved.
No, that is absolutely right. And something like this happened, and unfortunately the pressure due to the social media and the judgments made on the social media were so severe that this person, Mr. Khurshid Anwar, ended up committing suicide.
Oh, man. Mm-hmm.
Even before the matter could go any further.
So, Anuji, going back towards this reference of Shashi Tharoor's life, the way it has unfolded in recent times, indeed, first there were some questions about his openness in his tweets, and secondly, do you think if the social media was not existing the way it is existing, many times such a quick sort of development of relationships would not have been possible? For example, taking this particular case, so somewhere in this line, there is this Pakistani journalist lady who also comes into the picture, who came to Delhi in April for an interview with Shashi Tharoor. And then we read in the newspapers that in June or so, both of them met at a social gathering in Dubai again. And then there were some messages which Sunanda Pushkar just a day ago said that were objectionable and she was after her husband, etc. So the question is the kind of intimacy or possible relationship or some sort of feel that there is a relationship, it starts happening because of the presence of social media, because she said she was in touch through Twitter and email postings, etc.
Well, certainly the social media has made the geographical distances very small. I mean, right now there is tools and technology available to keep in touch with the person, from any part of the world he or she may be. And it's not just the written words. You can see each other. You can instantly exchange messages with each other. So definitely the social media or the technology has made keeping the relationships, or I would call it a distant relationships,
Right.
has made it a lot easier now.
Now people find their childhood friends, they reconnect, and sometimes they're also some sort of a old sleeping sort of a romantic.
Certainly, certainly. I mean, Facebook has. I mean, I can tell you personally myself the role it has played in making me in touch with my lost friends whom I had no chance of meeting or talking, but now I can see them on Facebook. I can connect with them. I can recall all the old memories. So definitely, it has played a very, very positive role in the lives of so many people.
Absolutely. So Anoopji, this is something which we'll have to keep on monitoring, and we need to pay attention to how we make use of social media. And from that point of view, what would be your tip?
Okay, so again, we have to exploit the positive things that can happen on the social media and be aware of and stay away from. So one of the things that I would say as far as the positive things is concerned is the discussion that can happen and that can actually help in starting a movement. So actually, since you brought it up, I remember what happened in Egypt
Right.
months back, and the role that the social media has played in bringing a revolution and almost changing the government in Egypt. So that is the positive side of the social media. Similarly, a healthy discussion can take place on almost any subject between people who are sitting in far distant parts of the world, which would not have been possible without the social media. But at the same time, we have to be careful and we have to understand the limitation of the internet and social media, which is that everyone who talks on this is not an expert on that.
Absolutely. And I'm reminded of the
In
famous.
giving their judgment, in talking about the issues that they don't understand and they don't know.
Absolutely. I just was interrupting you to share. I was reminded of the words probably Bill Gates said long ago, that Big Brother is watching, that kind of thing. So everybody is interconnected, and wherever you are either being videographed or photographed, and so behave properly is one message that comes to us from the technology. Anoopji, I want to thank you, and I want to also share with our viewers. I personally feel kind of shocked with this news of Sunanda Pushkarji's demise, and
it was just shocking news.
It is, and it was just in 2010 that it was third marriage for Minister Shashi Tharoor, and probably third for Sunanda Pushkar also. But they looked like a wonderful couple, and in 2010 they participated together in a function here in New York right after their marriage. organized by Pratham organization, where I got to talk to Shashi Tharoor briefly. So, with you, I share that small part of conversation with nostalgia. It's a great honor to be sitting with Shashi Tharoor, the author, the thinker, the politician, the administrator, and whatnot. And someone who is rejoicing um, in a period where we call he's still in the honeymoon period. So congratulations on that. I want to begin by asking you. We are sitting at the Pratham Gala. So, how do you see a role of these kind of organizations is significant for India?
I think it's very important for India. In fact, that's why I'm here. You know, I wasn't even supposed to be here. I came here for the UN General Assembly, and when they learned I was in town, they asked if I could come by. And though I had another commitment, I came just for a little while, just to show my support and solidarity with their efforts. I think Pratham is really valuable because what it's trying to do, which is to promote literacy in our country and better standards of learning, is extremely important for the future of India and Indian children. And it's one important way in which NRIs can give back. You know, learning is big. That's why Pratham, right? The very first thing is what it's all about. Is the ABCs of learning, and it's so important for our future. There is no country in the world that has industrialized and grown and become prosperous without making its population literate and educated. And NRIs have the ability to both give the financial resources and some of the educational and technical skills to be able to deliver results on the ground. And I've seen some of the work that Pratham has done. I think it's first class.
The work is first class, and the first class thing about life is that it brings a lot of challenges. And sometimes ups and downs are so much that people find it difficult to get to their balance. And in your case, whatever one reads in the newspapers, you went back after United Nations. Embraced Indian politics, which is considered with lots of bumps. And so, how was this whole journey for you?
Well, I hope the journey isn't over yet, so we'll see. It was good to go back. I enjoyed the experience of contesting the elections. It made me, in many ways, have to rediscover, as it were, my roots and my ability to connect with voters. And I'm humbled by the confidence they placed in me. I had a very significant majority for my election to the Lok Sabha, to Parliament. There have been ups and downs. And there's no question that it's not a profession for the faint-hearted. There are some real challenges. But having said that, there's also the great satisfaction you have of being able to make a difference in people's lives. And that's something that a politician gets to do every day of the week.
And I most appreciate you took some time out to talk to us, and I know she's waiting for you, and other things are waiting for you. But lastly, I want to ask you, there comes times in people's life which are not favorable for them. They come, they pass through them, but then they barely manage to sort of survive. They feel that now major chunk of where I put my heart and my emphasis on is not there. So they kind of feel little bit restrained. But in your case, one have seen through the filter of the newspapers that there is a spirit which loves to soar in spite of all the adversities and which is capable of doing that. So share that secret with us, and in what way would you share the tips when one is faced with negativity in life, how to come back and bounce back?
Well, I mean, there is no question that in some professions and in some places, negativity is probably far greater than in other aspects of life. You have to learn to live with it. I think that the greatest strength you have must come from within yourself and your faith in yourself. If you know who you are and you know what you're worth and you know ultimately that you've done the right thing as best as you can do it, that gives you the strength to carry on. It's not nice to be misunderstood. It's not nice to be misrepresented. It's not nice to be portrayed in a way that you know to be false. And there are a lot of people out there who rejoice in dragging down others and who rejoice in doing so out of the most malicious and petty motives. But ultimately, the best refuge you have is in yourself. Obviously, faith in something larger, in God and a larger purpose, that is also important, and that gives you something broader. But if you don't believe in yourself, then of course you will never have what it takes to move on. There's also the American expression that the harder you fall, the higher you'll bounce. So, like a good, strong rubber ball, you've just got to bounce right back.
So I take this mantra, believe in yourself, and that is the message which comes from Shashi Tharoor for us, with lots of good wishes to you, sir.
So somehow looks like good wishes from me for this wonderful gentleman. Didn't work that well as far as his married life is concerned. This interview was conducted in 2010, right after he got married to Sunanda Pushkar, and he was visiting New York. This was at a gala organized by Prism. We were talking about how social media has been a part and parcel of our lives, and before we wind up, once again recollecting on phone with me Anoop Bharagav. Anoop ji, हिंदी कविताओं के बारे में ज़्यादा चर्चा आज नहीं करते हुए कोई एक पंक्ति आप या दो पंक्तियाँ किसी कविता की जो कहीं ना कहीं सोशल मीडिया के और आपके संबंध से जुड़ी हुई भी हैं, हमारे दर्शकों तक पहुँचाएं।
नहीं अशोक जी, ये तो आपने बड़ा मुझे कविता के लिए तो मैं तैयार नहीं हूँ, लेकिन एक मैं अपनी दो पंक्तियाँ जो मुझे याद आ रही हैं।
जी स्वागत।
कि एक मेरा शेर है कि कल रात एक अनहोनी बात हो गई।
वाह।
कल रात एक अनहोनी बात हो गई, मैं तो जागता रहा, खुद रात सो गई।
क्या बात है, मैं तो जागता रहा खुद रात सो गई। तो हम लेकिन आपको सोने नहीं देंगे और जागते रहने की बात को लेते हुए जब अनूप जी का धन्यवाद करें, वहीं आपके साथ ये खुशखबरी कह लें या एक अच्छी खबर बांट लें कि टाइम वार्नर केबल की तरफ से जो कुछ उपहार जैसे प्लान्स आते हैं, उनमें एक तो ग्लोबल पैनी प्लान है जिसमें आप 1 सेंट 1 मिनट के लिए भारत कॉल कर सकते हैं उनको साइन अप करके, और एक विशेष खबर जो आपके अन्य मित्र जो बंधु न्यूयॉर्क न्यू जर्सी एरिया से बाहर रहते हैं उनसे आप कह सकते हैं कि अब टाइम वार्नर केबल पर ITV गोल्ड भी एक हिंदी पास प्लस पैक में अवेलेबल है, जिसमें 8 चैनल्स उन्हें $39.99 में उपलब्ध हो जाते हैं। और ये बाकी के जो चैनल्स हैं वो जी, सोनी, स्टार, लाइफ ओके, क्रिकेट चैनल, NDTV न्यूज़ और TV एशिया हैं। मगर ITV गोल्ड विशेष रूप से वो लोग जो आपसे कहते रहे कि आपका न्यूयॉर्क में या न्यू जर्सी में होने का एक लाभ ये है कि आप ITV भी देख पाते हैं, अब ये लाभ उन तक भी पहुंचने लगा है, एंड they would enjoy getting this news from you. And now is the time for another break in today's Inside Tonight. Once again, thanks to poet and computer professional Anoop Bhargava for being with us. Thank you, Anoop ji, and we'll be right back after this short break.